everyone, it's Kathy, and you're back here on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin', and here in my craft room, which everyone knows is my happy place. Look what I've got today. Yes, trucking along. If you have not seen this, it's because, see my red sticker? That means it's not in any of the catalogs. This is an online exclusive. You can only find it on my online store, and the link for that is going to pop in right about here. It'll also be listed under the video in case you don't catch it on the video right there. But I wanted to let everyone know that this is back in stock. The punch was out of stock for quite a while, but it is back, and I've been waiting for it to come back in before I did anything else with it. So guess what? We're going to be working with this today. And how fun is that going to be? I'm going to show you one of the cards that I already did. I thought this was so stinking cute, but I wanted to go just a little bit further. What I did is I stamped my crock, I stamped the tree in it, and I fussy cut this one. This is a very easy design to fussy cut. You've got the little stamp to put under it to make it look like ground. I used a couple of gems on it, and I used the same color cardstock, which this was cherry cobbler. I stamped my truck in cherry cobbler. I did the wheels in basic gray, and then I went back in with smoky slate and colored in what would be the hubs. I'm going to show y'all how to do this and how to make it easy, and if you want to, you can use the punch. And then inside, I just made a little bit of ground and looked like the trucks were moving through, and I stamped "Wishing you a festive Christmas." Now, we're going to go back over this in detail, but I want to show you another one, and I didn't put this one quite all the way together yet, and I did this one the opposite. I made my truck green, and this one I actually stamped it and then punched it with my with the punch. This is your punch builder. It's called the Trucking Along builder, and it gives you the truck, a wheel, the window, and like a fender. So you can actually build your truck yourself with punching out pieces if you like to do that. I did punch the truck, but I took and stamped this little the little thing of presents, and you get two stamps for the presents. You get one where you can fill in with an ink. I did that and I didn't like it, so I went back and I re-stamped it, and then I just used my alcohol blends and I colored them in. What's great about that is you can use any color, and you can make this any occasion card that you like. If you wanted to make it a happy birthday card, make the presents look like birthday cards, not Christmas presents. So it's all about the coloring and your designer series paper. I use the Glorious Gingham. I think that was the name of it. Yep, Glorious Gingham for my designer series paper, and I use that on both of these. When I was making this one, I cut my banner too short. You're probably saying, looks perfect to me. I want to show y'all a little hack. If you ever cut your banner too short, glue it down at the top. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. You can see I don't have any of this together. I did put my Glorious Gingham on a piece of basic white. What you're going to want to do with this is go ahead and put your glue on the back of your piece that goes on the top. And just find a spot where you know that you want it to go. And this nice, and it's easy to do that with this gingham because you have the stripes to kind of line it up with. Then lay this on, and then decide how far you want this to come out under the bottom. And I want that to come to about like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that over like that. And I know that's exactly where I want it. So I'm going to take some glue and put on the back of this. And then I'm going to bring this down. And I'm going to line it up on those same lines from the top. Just like that. Now when I take my little green square and pop this on top, nobody but you and I will ever know that this wasn't one whole piece all the way down. And it's another great way. Say you don't have a scrap that's quite long enough to make this banner run the full length of the card, you can very easily cut two different pieces, out of two different scraps. So that's just another thing that I wanted to show you. Now with this, we can pop it up or we can pop it down. I think I'm going to pop it up. I popped this one up, but I didn't put the border behind this one. I did use a border behind that one. But it's really easy to do. This is such a fun card to make, and it's one that you will find that most everybody loves, the little pickup truck. They seem to be such a cute decorative type thing for Christmas. Let me silence my phone just for a minute. Okay. I'm going to pull these backers off. Like so. And I'm going to take, so I don't get mixed up with getting this on straight. I'm going to move that card base up here out of my way. And then I'm going to bring this right in the center, up just a little bit. And I'm going to drop it right there. Just like that. So now all we have left to do is to put this onto the back and then do our inside. But I'm not going to do the inside of this one right now because I'm going to make another one. And I'm going to show you how I did the inside like I did that first one. So let's bring, oh, not inside, on the outside. Let's bring this in and put it right about there. Bring it down and over. And that looks really good. So we're going to go with that. All right, I'm going to go and pull some other pieces of paper. And then we are going to start making another one of these cards. And I'm going to show you all the detail of how I did this. And we're going to kind of recreate it and maybe do it a little bit different. Y'all know I love. Okay, guys, I'm back. And what I did while I was away is I pulled paper and card bases for 3 different cards. So I'm going to move these out of our way. And I want to show you how versatile this particular card layout can be and how many different ways you can use it. So what I am doing is I went ahead and I thought instead of doing a banner on this one, I would do a piece of ribbon to show you the versatility. We'll decide which what we want to use for this one when we get there, and also with this one. And if you notice, I cut my paper, my focal point, a little different in size in order to accommodate the different sizes of squares or rectangles. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. From the stamp set called, I've got it over here, Gift of Giving. I stamped this little Santa holding gifts, and I stamped it on a piece of cardstock that was 2.5 by 4. I stamped it and I used my alcohol blends, my Stampin' Blends, to color this, and this is what I came up with. And you can see how cute that's going to look on this card. So what we would do is we'll put this little ribbon right about there. We'll tape it to the back of this piece of cardstock, and then we will adhere everything together. And I used a combination of cherry cobbler and real red. And the reason I did that is because this particular piece of Designer Series paper has both real red and cherry cobbler. And I thought that was a really nice take on using both. So I made a card base from Basic White, and I did a cherry cobbler matte. Then I did another matte that is my Designer Series paper, and that piece comes from, let's see, that piece comes from Joy of Christmas, and it's this pack. Make sure I'm telling you right. Yes, Joy of Christmas, and this is a beautiful, beautiful pack of very classic Christmas paper. So that is the one I pulled that paper from. This one, my designer series paper, is from a collection called Shining Christmas, and this is an online exclusive. This one can only be found online, and it's a beautiful paper. It has foiling already on it, and see how shiny it is? Beautiful. Now, the back side is just a regular design that's not glossy, but each one of these papers have the front side that is beautifully foiled and shimmering, and then your back side is just a regular pattern. Um, and like I said, the order number for all of these will be on my PDF tutorial. Isn't that beautiful? But the back looks like that. Um, and let's see. Oh, I love this argyle. I think it's so Christmassy. Isn't that beautiful? And then your back side is just ornaments. So it's a very versatile pack of Christmas paper and it is considered a specialty paper because of the fact that you've got all that pretty um, sparkle on one side, and it just really catches the light lovely. And then the last piece is this right here. Beautiful candy canes, and then your back is just a cross stitch pattern. And then, of course, the piece that I used, which was the trees. And that was the first one I showed you. So those are the papers in that pack that I decided to pull and use. On this last card, I took the paper from, I've got it here. Just let me pull it. This is from the Merry and Bright, and it is so pretty. And I use this particular pattern right here, and I thought that would be really cute with those lights. And we're going to probably pull the Merry and Bright stamp set and do some stamping or something on that. So those are the pieces that I got. Now I can restamp this and color it, but for the sake of time, I'm not, because I used Real Red, I used Old Olive, I used Parakeet Party, I used Wild Wheat, and I used my Basic Black and Smoky Slate, and Starry Sky and Balmy Blue for the blue one. And I just love the way this turned out. Isn't that so cute? I love it. So what you can do is I'm going to take this little piece away because I just wanted to show you the size I used. And then what I did is I cut a mat to mat all of these on so everything would be cohesive. Isn't that so pretty? And then as we layer this card up, I think it's going to be gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some glue and I'm going to start adhering these pieces down. And see, I stamped on the back side of that, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I turned it over and restamped it, and I actually used my stamp wheel because I needed to stamp that more than once to get um, a good amount of ink on there. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to layer it on top of this piece. Something, something, something like that. Mm. You want to try to get these pieces as nice and even because they are your focal point. So once I get that on there, I am going to take my bone folder and do my little, what I call my ironing. And all that's doing is just helping that glue press out behind that cardstock and really adhere. So there's that panel. So then I'm going to work on the next panel, which is my designer series paper. And I'm going to put some glue on this piece. And let's smooth everything up so we can get this on here. Press that one down like so. And now we are ready. Oh, you know, I should have put that ribbon on. Let's look that up right there just for a moment. And I'm going to put that ribbon right about there. And I'm going to tuck it under there. Then when I pull this down, I'm probably going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal to hold that right there in the middle. So I'm just going to pull out some Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to run a little bit like that. And then when I bring this forward, I can lay that down, and that's going to keep my ribbon in place. I think that looks really pretty. And then when we lay this piece on top, we still got that little bit of ribbon poking out at the top and the bottom. And I think that's really, really super cute. So I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals because we like to have some dimension on our layers. And, you know, I wanted to show you this particular card layout to show you that layers do make a difference in your cards. When you layer your cardstock, and some people think, oh, that's such a waste, it makes my card too thick. Really, it's what makes your card special. And I think anytime that we make a card for someone, we want it to be something special that they will love and treasure, something that they'll want to show to other people, and you know, just something really pretty. So I'm going to lay that down. That's not quite where I want it. Something like that. Now that I think is so pretty, and all we have left to do is put that on a white card base, and we have a card. Now you could add some jewels, and we will come back and do that. We'll also come back and work on the inside of our card. But for right now, all I wanted to do was just get some glue or get my layout like I wanted it and get everything glued down. So I'm double checking to make sure my card's opening where I want it to. It would be horrible to glue this on in the wrong direction after all that work. And there is that one. Is that not cute? Fun, easy, and it makes a statement. Love that one. All right, we're going to lay that one up there. We're going to come back to those because, like I said, we will embellish and do the inside. Now, this particular one, I thought of the truck for this one because you got the little trees that look like the tree farm. What would be any cuter than to have the truck? And I wanted to show you that there is an easy way to get that truck on there and get everything lined up like you want it. Most of the time when we do these trucks, we do the outline first. I want to show you a better way. We are going to do our truck, but we're going to do the solid portion of it first. And I'm going to explain why I do it that way. Let me decide, do I want to do green or do I want to do red? And I think with having the red on here, I think I may. No, I'm going with the red. I'm going with the red, and I think I'm going to do cherry cobbler. So I want the truck to be really a dark, beautiful, vibrant red. So I am going to do my little landing area first, and that's going to be right here. So I need my basic gray. So I'm going to ink up my little landing piece, and I'm going to put it right about, I think I want it like that. I think I'm going to, if you notice, I turned it because I wanted my shorter pieces at the top to make it look like the truck was sitting in. And I'm going to go right about there. And see, that gives us a perfect place to sit our truck. So now I'm going to stamp the the step 2 of our two-step stamping, I like to go 2 and then 1. And you're going to see why once I get this stamped up, inked up, and stamped down. So I'm going to stamp that right about here. I'm giving that a good press because I want all of that red ink to transfer to my paper, and it did. Now I am going to take my VersaFine, and yes, I am going to use VersaFine for this because I want a nice, rich, dark outline. So I'm going to take my VersaFine, and I'm going to use the outline stamp, and I'm going to really ink this up really good. And then I'm going to hover over it, and you can see exactly where your red's at by looking through. And when I'm pleased with it, I'm going to stamp that down. And there is our truck. See how easy that was? And everything lined up perfect by doing it that way. Now, I heard people say that they had a hard time with the tires. I'm going to show you a little trick, and I'm going to use my basic gray for that. And I've got my little wheels all loaded up right here. And let's see, they go like this. So I'm going to ink those up. And that little center dot, you want to line up right over top of the center dot on your truck wheels. If you get that dot lined up, your tires will be perfect every time. And that's this little secret behind that one. So now the next thing we want to do is we don't want to put our thumb in our ink pad. I know we all do it. I am famous for doing that. That's the reason I always have my little makeshift alcohol wipes that I make myself. And I'm going to wipe that ink off of my thumb. Comes off beautifully. So I want to stamp my sentiment. And my sentiment, I'm going to do special delivery. And I want to do that I think I'm going to do this in the shade of spruce. And I'm going to stamp that right down here. Love it. And on my truck itself, I'm going to use the VersaFine, and I'm going to use that little stamp that says Farm Fresh. And I want that on my door. So I'm going to ink that up really good. And go in right about here. And stamp Farm Fresh. So cute. Now we need to do our little Christmas tree on the back. So again, that's a two-step process. And I need to go pull that stamp because I don't have it. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and I went ahead and got my stamp set, and I got a piece of plain basic white cardstock, and I am going to attempt to stamp the two trees right here, and it's going to give us a beautiful two-tone look. So here is the one that's more solid, and this is the one that's more detailed. So I'm going to choose two colors of ink, and I'm going to go with that shaded spruce and a greeny apple green. I want a light and a dark for this because the effect that I want is for it to look like the tree is an actual two-tone tree. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stamp it in the greeny apple green, and that's going to be that solid piece. So I'm going to stick that onto my block and ink it. And then I'm just going to stamp it right here in a corner. Very pretty. And then we are going to open up that shaded spruce, and I'm going to pick it up. And let's see, like this. Yeah, and we're going to put this one over top of it. This is easy to do with the photopolymer because you can see through them. And that gives us the look of a real tree. Now, we don't get dies for this because this set came with a punch, and the punch does the truck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my paper snips. This is a very easy thing to fussy cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start going around these branches. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it is a tree. And if you just do your little wiggle cut, I call that a wiggle cut, and just kind of go around each one of your little pieces, that is going to turn out absolutely beautiful. And it's going to look like the Christmas tree on the back of our little pickup truck. And there is our tree. So now it'll be very easy, and that straight edge and the straight edge there goes to the side and the bottom. So when you put your truck on, it's going to look something like that. I mean, your tree. I'm going to use plain glue for this because I don't need it to be dimensional because the truck isn't popped up on dimensionals. I went ahead and put this down flat. So we're going to put the tree on there just like that. Now we have a beautiful little tree on top of our little pickup. So with all of that being said, we're going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this. Something like that. And then we are going to stick this down. Give it a nice press. And now I'm going to take this piece of Designer Series paper and I'm going to put it on my mat. So this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. And we're going to turn it sideways. And I am going to put that down just like that. Give it a press. And then I'm going to put glue on the back of this. Well, you know what? Before I do that, let's decide what we want to go down the front of this. And I'm thinking that I want to do that mossy meadow. So I'm going to grab a piece of mossy meadow, and I just pulled a scrap out of my scrap bin. And I know I want it to go about that far up because when we put this on top, you know what? I think I'm going to leave it that length. I'm going to cut this at 1 1/4. I found that 1 1/4 is pretty much the perfect length for one of these cards, or the width, I should say. So we're going to cut that at 1 1/4. And let's see what it is. This way it is 4 3/4. So that's perfect. Now, I like to banner cut, and you can do it one of two ways. If you have a punch where you can do the banner cut on it, you can do it that way. But if you don't, I do have a punch, but it's retired. So instead of using that, I'm going to cut up about that far. And then I'm going to kind of make myself. Now, if you have trouble getting your angles right, let me show you something you can do. Up to where you cut, if you take a T-ruler or any kind of ruler and lay it across, grab a pencil, you want something you can erase, and just draw a line straight across like that. Now you can better see where you need to cut to. So all you have to do then is cut from here, from your corner, and you can angle your scissors in much better to cut that out, just by seeing where you need to cut to. Now this is just a little trick. Most of the time I eyeball this, but I don't always get it perfect. So there we go. That's a little trick that you can use. And if you don't like to see that on there and you don't want to erase it, just turn it over. When you turn over a piece of cardstock like this, you always want to find your bone folder. That's if I can find it amongst my mess. let's lay my scissors there. And I had my bone folder just a moment ago. Oh, I put it back where it belongs. Imagine that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to iron across the front of this, and I am using the back. And anytime you cut paper, the edges will curl under most of the time. So what I did with that is I just ironed down the edges so I don't have that little bubble feel on there. So now we can take this piece and adhere it to the top of our card, just like that. And I think for this, I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal. And I'm just going to run a piece of Stampin' Seal here and here. And then I very strategically want to make sure I'm all the way up to the top of that designer series paper and press it down. That looks good. So now we're ready to put this piece on. And see how pretty the trees look in the background of that? So I'm going to pop these up on this piece up on dimensionals, and they are going to go on. I'm going to put one in each corner, and I got glue on my fingers, y'all. You can probably see it. I'm going to put these right here, and here, and here. I think that'll be sufficient. And we'll just go ahead and pull these off. Now, I know some people are going to say this is way an overkill with all the layers, but I wanted to do this to show you just how beautiful cards can be simply by layering and layering and layering. It adds so much to a card, and look how beautiful that is. Now we are ready to put this onto our card base, and I have a piece of that mossy meadow. And when you lay this down on the mossy meadow, look how everything pops. Isn't that, I mean, I think it's so pretty. So we're going to go ahead and take this. And this particular card layout, you could call it a card sketch if you want to, will work with so many different things, and you don't have to use a rectangle or a square. You could do a circle punch, a circle die cut, an oval. You could do like a diorama. We had that set of dies for a while that were the dioramas. That would be pretty on here. Whatever shapes you've got that you like, that would be beautiful. What makes it so special is the layering and the designer paper. So we're going to put some gems on that, but before we do, we got one more card to do, and then we're going to go back and we're going to put we're going to put some gems and make the inside of our card, and we're going to make everything beautiful. All right, so Merry and Bright is my next one. Now, I cut these pieces because I wanted to play off of the designer series paper, and it has Poppy Parade and Pool Party. There's also a Granny Apple Green. There is a Flirty Flamingo. There is a Blueberry Bushel. There are actually Garden Green. So you could get away with a lot of different colors with this paper, and it is so pretty. We have that on the back. So say you don't use all this for the Christmas season, well, hang on to it because you can use this for birthdays, thinking of you, any type of card that you might need to make. A thank you card, that would be beautiful. But for right now, we're going to put this on here like this. And this piece here, I think I want to cut this in white. I wasn't sure about it at first. I tell you what, let's try it in this color and see what we can get. If we don't like it, we can always come back with a piece of basic white and cut it. I pulled out my Merry and Bright stamp and dies. I love these. I think they're so pretty. We are going to stamp this particular bulb. They remind me of the lights that was on my tree when I was a kid. I think you all know what I'm talking about. So we're going to stamp. You know what? I am going to do it on that. I'm going to stamp these on a different paper. And I want that for my top piece. Actually, no, I don't. I'm going to die cut the top, these, and watch what we're going to do. We are going to use that, and maybe even a string. I think that'd be cute. I'm going to I've got some scrap paper over here that I've been using, and I think I'm going to take a piece of, I'm going to take a piece of this green. No, I want white. I'm going to stamp these on white. So I just grabbed a scrap of white, and I'm going to stamp this, and I think I want to do it in Poppy Parade, Flirty Flamingo, and let's just try it. Let's do Poppy Parade, Blueberry Bushel, and Granny Apple Green. Have Granny Apple Green. Yeah, Granny Apple Green's right there. I think that's going to be pretty on there. So I'm going to start off with my Granny Apple Green, and we are going to need to clean our stamps in between. So I'm going to pull out my Stampin' Scrub. I love this thing because it needs cleaning right now, but I can still use it. When I get ready to clean this, I just take like a butter knife, and I pop up underneath here, and these two pads come out. I can take them directly to my sink and clean them up. Let me show you how they come out. This is a Cricut spatula, but you can just go up under the edges of it like that, and it comes loose. Once you get it off of one, the other ones just come out, and it looks like that underneath. It's just a tray. These will go to the sink, and you can wash them and clean them and let them dry, and then just pop them back in, and you're good to go for your next card. I love them because it's an investment piece. It's not going to wear out. This will last you for the rest of your crafting days. And that's what I love, tools that have a lasting power that you can keep and use over and over. Now I'm going to activate my cleaner because there's cleaner already on this side. You have one side that shows rain right there. That's your wet side. So I'm going to spray it with a little water just to activate my cleaner. And then this is my drying side. And you have a little sunshine right here to show you that this side is drying. Wash and dry. Love it because of that reason. So I'm going to grab a stamp block that will accommodate my little Christmas light. Something like that. And I'm going to go into that, this shaded spruce, that Granny Apple Green. Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to stamp one here. Let's try that one again. Sometimes with these new stamps, and I have not stamped with this yet, you might need to stamp a couple of times to get the image like you want it. That's a little better. See, it didn't bleed over into my little highlight, so I like that one better. So I'm going to clean my stamp and dry it. And now that stamp is ready for my next color. I always like to bring out my Stampin' Scrub when I'm stamping the same item in different shades of ink because it allows me to clean up really quick and move on to my next one. So that one we're going to put right here. Very pretty. Clean it. And then we're going to do one in Poppy Parade. And I do like to close my ink pads up in between. I see so many people, they'll leave their ink pads open while they're doing their entire project. I don't normally do that unless I'm doing something that I'm going to be stamping back and forth in, because I like to keep my ink pads nice and moist and not have to re-ink them any more than necessary. That one's a little too light, so let's go again. That one showed the ink inside of it. Let's clean it. And let's try that again. Much better. The lights do not have to be perfect. They just have to be, they just got to be there. So here are our little pieces that's going to go underneath. So I'm going to die cut those, and I think I'm going to do those in silver. So let me grab some silver paper. And I got a small piece right here, so we're going to use this piece, and then we're going to die cut. Now, of course, I've got to move some stuff because I can't get to my machine. Do y'all have that problem? I'm going to put that piece right there. I am going to secure it off to the edge like that, and I'm going to do the same thing with this piece, and I'm going to show you why I'm going to do it from the edge. I'm going to cut this piece off. Oops, stuck it to my mat. You don't want to stick it to your mat. So let's pull that up. And here we go. Now I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I am going to cut this off so that I'm not wasting that precious foil paper. So I'm going to go right about there and I'm just going to slice that. I don't want any more of this to go through the die cut machine than it has to because y'all know what the die cut machine does to foil. It leaves impressions in it. I'm going to cut that piece off right there, and I'm going to save that for some more because we know we need 3. So this will give us 1, and we should be able to get 2 more out of that. Well, let's just go ahead and run these through. And get some of my stuff put away so I can get to my machine. And here's my machine. I'm going to lay that on there like that and pop that on top. And then I'm just going to feed this through. You know what? I think we have enough of those to cut 2 at a time. So yeah, we do. I should have thought about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out. Oh, come on. So we got 2 of them. So we can actually cut 2 of these at one time. But we are going to get this together. And there's those. What's so nice about this is you can use either or. You can use it like that or like that. I think I'm going to use it with the lines showing. So as a matter of fact, let's cut. Let's cut this one here and this one here, and I think we'll have enough of them cut. Let's take that piece. If you want a solid piece, I wasn't even thinking. I hadn't die cut these before, so I wasn't sure exactly how that was going to cut, but it did perfect. So I just want these pieces, and we're going to take that little topper out. Yeah, it fell out. There it is. So this will go on the top of our bulbs. And look how cute those look. And we're going to cut those out too. So let's run this back through. Now we have the rest of our pieces. So I'm going to pop the little place where the hole's at. And we have one for the blue, one for the green, and one for the puppy parade. So that's going to be so pretty. All right, I'm going to take these up And as I always do, I'm going to lay these back into their packaging so that I don't lose them. If you've ever lost a die that you've really, really liked, you'll know why I do this. So I don't lose my dies. I think that's so important when we're crafting, is to try to make sure we get stuff back where it belongs so we don't lose it. So I'm going to take these and lay these back in here. And this one. And I need this bulb. So we're going to take that out. And we're going to lay our little pieces right there. And I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out my light bulbs. And we got 2 of these also, so we can cut 2 at a time. That will save us going through the die machine. You know, Stampin' Up! Is so smart because they know that you're going to want to cut more than one of these. So this is their way of helping you streamline your crafting a little bit better. So let's pull that over. I love it when I can cut more than one image at a time. And then let's do this one. And we'll put a little tape on that as well. And now I'm going to come down to about there, because I want to cut in a different spot than I was cutting. And we're going to push this through. Now we have this all done. Let's see how pretty those turned out. We know we've still got to do, there's 1, and there is 2. Well, that one's perfect. That one's not quite as perfect, but it's okay. It'll work. So I'm going to take this one and put it over top of this bulb. And press it. And now we're going to put this one up closer to the top. And we're going to run this through like that. And pop that one out like that. And again, grab my dies. And that can go in the trash. The only thing left to cut now is our little piece that our I'll get it out in a minute, y'all. That our lights are going to string from. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use this beautiful piece of shaded spruce, and I'm going to go up about to there with it. And I'm going to lay that on here, like so. And we're going to push that through our die cut machine. These are going to give us like little strings. I know it looks like it's a lot more than little strings, but trust me with the process, they are like little strings. All right, so I got that. And look how stinking cute these are. You pull away this little middle piece, and it leaves you with these 2 little streamers. They're kind of delicate, but look at that. Aren't those cute? So I'm going to lay one right there, and the other one doesn't have a loop in it. So I'm not sure which one we're going to use yet, but we'll see. I'm going to throw these little scraps away because I don't really need to keep those. And I'm going to do what I always do, and that's put my dies back up. So this is going to go back on here. And then, of course, my ones for my balls are going to go right here, or I should say my lights. These aren't Christmas balls. They are Christmas lights. And yeah, we're good with that. We can lay that back up there. And we're ready to put these together. Now, if you noticed, the blue one didn't cut quite as good as I would have liked it. That does happen. And when it does, what I always do is just pull out my paper snips, if I can find them. I think I laid them over here. I did. And we're just going to do a little trimming on this. It's not a big deal if you need to trim. Just do it. And first you cut around that edge. just like that. All right, so now for these, I want to put my little pieces up here on the top, just like that. That really does make them look like they're actual light bulbs or little Christmas tree lights. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of liquid glue, and I'm really careful when I'm using liquid glue and foil because they do not get along. If you get glue on the top of your foil, it makes it look ugly. So I'm just going to press that in place. There's one. We'll do the same thing with this one. Just a little glue. Don't take a lot, just a tiny bit. And then lay this one on top of here. Like that. And now we're going to do our last one. And this one's going to go on just like that. So again, a little glue. And press this on. And that is all there was to that. Now we have our little streamer. How stinking cute this is. And guess what? Oh, that wasn't dry. Let's put that back on and give it a press. Set that on there just for a minute. Give it a good press. Okay. Now we can string our lights onto here. Just like this. And like that. How stinking cute is that? And you can tighten them up if you want them to be tighter, which we're going to need them tighter to go on this piece here. So let's bring them over. Oh, so stinking cute. Look at that. So now we can arrange these however we want them. So I think I'm going to make them something like that. And, I don't care if they're kind of wonky. I think wonky sometimes is, better. It doesn't look like everything's been placed. So I'm gonna turn these over like so. You kind of got to work with them because they will get where they don't want to cooperate with you. And then I'm going to see if that will fit. And that will fit. So what I'm going to do to keep these just like that, like I want them, I'm going to put some Scotch tape on the back. Or you could use Stampin' Seal. Maybe we'll do Stampin' Seal. That looks good. That works perfect. And look, they are just where we want them. That one's trying to get away. We're not going to let him get away. There are our Christmas lights. So all we have to do now is string them onto the front of our card like that. And you're probably thinking, well, what about that little loop-de-loop? Well, we're just going to trim him off. Take your paper snips and trim him off. There, that is so cute. So now we are going to put a sentiment on here. And to do that, I think I'm going to do Oh What Fun, because what's any more fun than Christmas lights? Let's see if that's going to work. If it's not too big, it's not, it's perfect. It's going to go right there at the bottom and say, Oh, what fun. The question is, what ink do we want? I'm going to use the Poppy Parade because that seems to be the star of the show on this, and it will show up good on this pool party. So I'm going to place that right there, grab a stamp block and pick it up. And I'm rubbing my fingers over top of the stamp just to help it be able to stamp a little better. So I'm going to grab out my Poppy Parade. What did I do with? Oh, it's over here. It's hanging out over here. So I'm going to take the Poppy Parade, and I do want to get a little scrap of paper to stamp on first. So I'm going to grab this is the little piece I cut my tree out of. I'm going to use that to see what kind of image I'm getting. Pretty good. Anytime it's a stamp that hasn't been stamped before, I do like to stamp it a couple times just to make sure I'm getting a good image, and that looked really good. So now I'm going to go in for my third stamp, and I'm going to come right here at the bottom and stamp "Oh, What Fun." I love it. I think it's so pretty. I hope you're loving this set as much as I am. This was one I kind of overlooked. I won't say I overlooked it. I looked at it and I was like, I don't think so. And then I went back and I kept looking at it, and I had a friend of mine. Actually, it was Alicia Burris. And she said, "Oh, I just love that set. I love it." And then I went back and I took another look at it, and I was like, I think my girl Alicia's on something. So I thought, I've got to go ahead and get that set. So I'm so glad I did, because I think this is another set that will be so versatile, and one that you will be able to use over and over and over again. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay this right about here. That pretty pool party. Like that. Then I'm going to take this piece. Now that's not going anywhere, so you don't have to worry about anything moving on that card. I'm going to put this down on my Poppy Parade. And I'll pop it up in a minute. I think I wanted this to be flat. And then we'll pop up the next pieces. So I'm going to very strategically get that on there like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this piece onto my card base. And leave me a comment in the section below, and let me know if Pool Party and Poppy Parade would be colors that you would use for Christmas. Sometimes it's nice to kind of step outside the box. I'm very much a traditionalist when it comes to my Christmas colors, but it's not to say that I'm not attracted to other colors. I'm going to turn this over and use some Stampin' Dimensionals on this. I think popping up this piece really does add a lot to your card. So let's put one on each corner. And then let's do one here and one here. And then I'm going to take these off. Just double check and make sure I got all of my stickies off of those so they will adhere. And then, oh, we got to do our little thing down the middle. What do we want to do down the middle? I'm looking to see ribbon, or do we want to do another? I think I'm going to do another banner, and I think I'm going to use that tea party. I think it'll be pretty. I'm not sure, but we're going to try it. So we know we need it to be 1 1/4, about 4. So I'm going to put this in my trimmer to 1 1/4. Give it a cut. And we know we need it to be about 4 inches long. And give it a cut. And then we're going to do that same thing again. We're going to take our ruler. And I want this one to be a little deeper. So I am going to measure that down where my peak will be a little bit longer. Or you know what? That piece is longer, so I might need a larger piece. It's okay. We'll cut it if we need to. Yep, that's not going to work. All right, let's cut this in half. Remember I showed y'all how to do that on that one card? cut it in half. Take this piece and glue it up to the top so it looks like it's attached to that mat underneath. See what I mean? Put it all the way up like that. We're going to put some glue on it. Go ahead and glue that piece down. And we want to make sure we're all the way up to the top. Just like that. Press it. Now for this piece, this is the piece that I'm going to measure. Bella keeps knocking my paper off. Bless her heart. We're going to measure up on this one about to there. And I'm going to draw a line. And I'm going to cut up to that line like this, right in the middle, kind of eyeball it. And then you've got a better way to cut from that angle. You can see where you're going. And that just makes that come out so much easier. And again, up to there. And turn it over, and nobody sees the pencil mark. And all we have to do now is put this down here, like that. And then when you put this over it, it's going to look like the banner's running all the way down. So that's how you do that if you don't have enough of paper to, or you cut your piece too short. Just slice it in half and make it 2 pieces and make that gap in the middle. Nobody's going to see nobody's going to see that except you and all of you that are watching me make this card. So I'm going to eyeball center that as best I can, just like that. And now we're going to take this piece and center it right over top. Something like, oops, I didn't get that over quite far enough. Come on, come on, come on. Come up, come up. That took our little piece up too. Let's see if we can get that over just a little bit more. I'm going to take my bone folder and just go up underneath that and rub that piece down. And there is that card. Is that not so stinking cute? Now we are going to go back and we're going to put inside. So I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to cut all of my mats for my inside, and we're going to come back and we're going to decorate the inside of these 3 and probably the inside of, oh, what happened there? I got something inside there, something stuck there and it transferred to there. I'm going to try to clean that up and I'll show you how to do that when we come back. We're going to do the inside for this one. So I'm going to need 4 mats for the inside, and if I decide to mat, I'm just going to do a white mat. So I'm going to cut 4 white mats to go inside, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And when I left you, I was going to go and make some mats for these cards, and I have done that. Before we get started with all of those, I want to show you, when I opened this one, I noticed that a piece of, I don't know if it was a dot of glue, but it pulled off some of the paper from right here. I can feel it right there that it's missing. So I'm going to try to remove that using a mono sand eraser. Now this is not a Stampin' Up product. I do have this listed over in on my Craft Room Favorites on my Amazon store. And look, it got it off completely. So these are so good. You can sometimes sand ink off of your paper. Everyone needs one of these. And I do have it linked over there. They're not that expensive, and it is an absolute necessity in your craft room. But I wanted to take care of that before we went any further because this card is done. So the ones we need to work on for the inside are the ones that are left. Now this one, I'm going to go ahead and do this one next because it is, this is just going to need a white mat inside because I'm using a colored cardstock. So we're going to decide what we're going to put on the inside. And I think for most of these, especially with the truck, wishing you a festive Christmas can be sufficient. for the inside of these. And then if you want to, you can put a Merry Christmas in there as well. Let's see if we can find a Merry Christmas that we can use throughout these cards. And I think we will, because it's not a hard thing to do. Let's see, we got Mary's trees. That would be cute in all of them. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. Maybe I'll do that one. I like that because it's going to take up a little bit more space. And let's go with that. All right. And this is the Merriest Trees. This is a really cute set. And you're going to be seeing me use this one pretty soon. Let's see. That's Filling Your Spirits. That's not it. Okay, it's this one right here. I think that will make a good show inside. And since it looks like a tree, I'm gonna stamp that in the shaded spruce. So let me grab my inks. I'm gonna lay my cards up here so I don't accidentally get ink in them. I'm gonna grab a stamp block again. And this one looks really, really dirty. I tried to clean up some of my stamp blocks while I was off camera. I did get quite a bit of my mess cleaned up, and I can always work a little bit better if I have a little neater surface to work on. So I'm going to rub the stamp really good and get some of that excess off of it. And then we're just going to stamp this right here. We wish you a Merry Christmas. I love that. Now that one's ready to go inside of this one. And I don't know that I'm going to put those down yet. I may just put them in the card itself. So I'm going to close this ink up because I may not need to use that color for every stamp. And I'm going to bring my Stampin' Scrub back out and clean that stamp so it'll be ready for the next one. Okay. I'm just going to set this over to the side because I feel positive we're going to be pulling that back in. Now, this is another one that just needs a white mat. So here we go. We have this one. And this was Old Olive, and we used some Real Red and Cherry Cobbler. I think what I'm going to do with this one, I think I'm going to stamp it in Real Red. So I didn't have my Real Red out. It's okay. We'll grab it. So there is my Real Red. And I'm going to stamp I Wish You a Merry Christmas right in the middle. That looks good. And this is going to go inside of this one. We're going to come back and embellish. And then this one, I think again, just a white card base. Inside this one would be pretty. This one I want to do in the pool party. Since that was an accent color that we used, I'm going to carry it through. So let's grab Pool Party. And clean my stamp really quick. I think we want red ink to mix in with our Pool Party. That would probably not be a pretty color. All right. And now I'm just going to stamp into this color. And stamp that right about there. We wish you a Merry Christmas, and I think that's going to be so pretty with that color of paper. Isn't that kind of a little surprise inside? I love that. Now for this one, since I have white, I wanted to have a contrast rather than just putting a white. So I cut one mat at 4 by 5 1/4 and my second one at 3 3/4 by 5. This way they will center up just like that. And that is Cherry Cobbler. So I'm going to grab my Cherry Cobbler ink. I really love this card. This was so much fun to color. And at the end of this video, I'm going to have a separate little section that's going to show me coloring it. So it will take place right outside of the end of the video. So I'll just attach it to the edge and set and show me coloring. I'll put on some music and I will color this just like I did here using the same colors. And that way you can see. And like I said, I'll just put on some Christmas music and color away. I think that'll be a nice little added something to this. And that way you'll get a chance to see me color. And if you don't want to watch me color, then you can just skip that part and say you're done with the video. Sometimes it's hard to do that in the middle of the video because some people don't care for it and some people love it. So I just wanted to let you know that it's going to be there in case you want to watch me color. And there is that one. So now all I need to do with this, and I think I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal on the back of this. So I'm just going to get that going. And then set this down like that. Open up our card, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to just a little Stampin' Seal around my edges. This stuff is super, super strong. And I say this every time I use it. When I first got this stuff, I was not impressed with it. I thought it was a horrible seal to use. And I think they must have hurt us because it seems to be reformulated, and I'm loving it now. Okay, now for my my little embellishments, I have this roll of ribbon. This is an online exclusive, so you have not seen it in the catalog, but it is beautiful. It is red and gold, and it's actually woven into the ribbon because when you look at the back, you can see the woven part. And this ribbon is pretty on either side. When you tie a bow, you use both sides of your ribbon. And this is what my bow turned out like. And I like that. It doesn't bother me a bit that I've got a different color there than the other side. And I want to pop that bow up right here on the top of this card. I am going to use a glue dot. My all-time favorite ways of putting down my ribbons and bows is a glue dot. So I am going to press in and pull that glue dot off, and then I think I'm going to put it right there in the corner. I like that. And there is that card. So pretty. It's so very pretty. You know what? That was not the one I was going to use that on. I had this for a different card. Let's see if we can pull that up. And we did. This is the card I have for this one. I wanted this bow right there. I wanted it because I thought that was festive with the little polka dots in the back. Okay. Regroup. On this one, I have some gems, and I wanted something with red, and I couldn't find anything. So the Winter Meadow have these silver ones, and I just used one of my dark Stampin' Blend, and I used the brush tip. So the wider tip, I was very careful because you don't want to compromise the tips of your pen. So I was very careful, and I went over top, and look what I did. I colored two of these. Get the glue dot on it. Oops. And I'm going to put one right there, and the other one right here. And we're going to call this card done. Now, how stinking cute is that? Love it. The last one that we've got to do is this one. I am going to use some of these because these match this card beautifully. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to slide off a couple of these. I'll put one right here, and one right about here. And then for, like I said, we've already done the inside of this one. Let's go ahead and adhere it. So open that up and set that in about like that. And give it a press. And now that one's done. This one's done. Let's go ahead and place this one in. Put these up here out of my way. Let's go ahead and get this one in. So easy and simple when you're using Stampin' Seal because it just goes on like a breeze and you know it's going to always hold your card. I love that stuff. So we're going to put this one in like that. And that one's done. And then we put this one in. No, we did not put this one in. Now, the other one that I made, the red one, I stamped the truck inside of it. I thought that was so stinking cute. We can do that with this one if you want to, but I think with that stamp in the middle, we really don't need anything else on that. I think it's beautiful just the way it is. So I'm not going to stamp on the inside. It just kind of gives you two different ideas for decorating the inside of your cards. And I want to thank all of you that have commented about you like the fact that I do the inside of my cards. I think it's so important to do that. So here we go. Adhere this in like that. And now we have 1, 2. Let's move that ink in my tools and blends. Oh, and I have one more I wanted a bow on. I was going to put a bow on this one. That little tiny bow, and I use this is the ribbon combo pack with lemon lime twist. It comes with lemon lime twist and what was the other one? I can't remember, but it's in the I think it's in the new catalog, the mini catalog. I'll look and make sure because I do need to put that in. Mini catalog. I can't put my hands on the catalog. I'll find it and it'll be linked in the description. So don't fear. We'll get her done. So this one I think I'm going to put right here on the corner. I could put it right there, but that kind of covers up our workings. I want it right there. So again, I'm going to use a glue dot, but this time I'm going to take my glue dot and I'm going to pull it off with my finger. And yes, you can do that. Roll it off of that and then roll it up into a little small dot because this is a very small bow. Now I can stick that right on the back of that and adhere it wherever I want it. And I want it right there. So there is that card. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. I'm sorry, 4. I can't count, y'all. 5 cards. Let me know in the comments which one you like the best. I am torn between this one and this one. I love these. These were my first ones. These were my babies, my very first ones. But I love the fact that I put the red up on a mat on this one and this one I didn't because that was a prototype. I was just starting off working with it. That's why it's got stamps on the inside. I was playing around with what to do with it. But I love all of these. I think they're gorgeous. I hope you do. There'll be pictures of all these cards in the PDF tutorial. So make sure you click on my blog and go there and you will be able to find all of this. So I'm going to pause for a minute and I will come back and y'all can watch me color this. I'll be right back.